Airstrike on Crimea. Saki Airfield in Novofedorivka burns. Pentagon finds additional $2 billion for weapons for Ukraine. Western allies will eventually allow Ukraine to strike deep into Russia. The latest news from Ukraine and around the world. The Russians have attacked Ukraine with an Iskander-M ballistic missile and 22 Shahed drones on the night of 25-26 July. Ukrainians' air defense has managed to down 20 drones. This is reported by Ukrainian Air Force on Telegram. Quote, radio-technical troops of the Air Forces detected and tracked 22 Shahed drones. Air defense downed 20 of them over Kherson, Sumy, Zhytomyr and Chernihiv Oblasts. Details. The Russians launched a missile from Russia to Rostov Oblast toward Donetsk region. The drones were launched from Cape Chauda in temporarily occupied Crimea and from the Russian city of Kursk. Mobile fire groups of Ukrainian defense forces as well as anti-aircraft missile troops and electronic warfare units of the Air Force were involved in repelling the attack. On the night of July 26, the Russian army once again attacked Nizhyn in the Chernihiv region with Shahed drones. The attack had consequences, states the head of the Chernihiv Regional Military Administration, Vyacheslav Chaus. As noted, the attack resulted in strikes on an infrastructure facility and residential dormitory. Additionally, a civilian was injured. Earlier, the air forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine had reported the threat of strike drones. As of 4/11, the threat of enemy drones targeting the regions had been lifted. Last week, on the night of July 20, the Russian army also struck Nizhyn. As a result of that attack, 2 elderly people required medical aid. Additionally, a multi-story residential building was damaged, with 18 apartments suffering varying degrees of damage. Russian forces are attempting to regain the initiative on the battlefield and achieve quick victories through mechanized maneuvers. The large-scale frontal assaults indicate that the Russian military command has not fully learned its lessons about the difficulties of mechanized maneuvers on the almost transparent battlefield in Ukraine. Details. The current strategy of the Russian military, which involves deploying numerous armored vehicles for limited tactical gains, highlights a lack of strategic foresight. As time goes on, the increasing scarcity of equipment is likely to make such mechanized offensives increasingly unsustainable and costly. To maintain its aggressive operations in Ukraine, Russia has been heavily reliant on refurbishing old stocks of Soviet-era weaponry, particularly armored vehicles. According to a report by the Ukraine-based open-source organization Frontintelligence Insight on 25 July, Russian forces have been observed transporting hundreds of pieces of military equipment, mainly refurbished older armored vehicles such as T-62 and T-55 tanks to the front lines during June and early July 2024. These vehicles have not yet seen combat, suggesting that Russia may be planning to deploy them later this year. Frontintelligence Insight also noted that internal Russian documents reveal a backlog of tanks damaged in the past 6 months, awaiting replacement parts, with engine shortages leading to the cannibalization of newer T-80 tanks for repairs. Despite these logistical challenges, Russia still had enough armored vehicles to conduct periodic company-sized and larger mechanized assaults along the front lines in the foreseeable future. Airstrike on Crimea. Saki Airfield in Novofedorivka burns. As a result of an aerial attack in temporarily occupied Crimea, the military airfield Saki in Novofedorivka is on fire. There are reports of ammunition detonations, according to the pro-Ukrainian Crimean Telegram channel Dmytro. Subscribers of the channel reported multiple powerful explosions across various parts of the peninsula. According to their information, the Saki Airfield in Novofedorivka is burning, with ammunition detonations occurring there. Additionally, subscribers reported strikes in the Kunivka area. Residents of Simferopol also heard loud explosions. The channel's followers saw fire trucks and ambulances heading toward the Saki airfield. According to the Krymsky Video source, an ammunition depot at the airfield has been hit. Officially, the head of the Russian administration of Sevastopol, Mikhail Razvazhayev, only mentioned a ballistic threat initially and later cancelled the missile threat alert. Krymsky Video has published several videos, including footage of Russian air defense systems operating near Yevpatoria. one of the strikes at the Saki Airfield, the ineffective operation of Russian air defense systems near Saki. Western allies will eventually allow Ukraine to strike deep into Russia with their long-range weapons, Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski said in an interview with RMF 24 on July 25. Ukraine has the right and should be able to shoot down warplanes and attack Russian airfields, Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski said in an interview with RMF 24 on July 25. Sikorski stated, "In my opinion, Ukraine has the right and should be able to shoot down aircraft and attack the airfields from which they take off." He noted that similar decisions have occurred before regarding providing Ukraine with Leopard tanks, other Western equipment, and F-16 fighters. When asked whether Western politicians fear the possible response of Russian dictator Vladimir Putin to the expansion of strikes against Russia with long-range NATO weapons, Sikorski replied, "No, I don't see Putin holding back," Sikorski said, "except for the fact that he has not yet used nuclear weapons. I think he will use everything he has, including the giant bombs he uses to destroy civilian settlements. All the atrocities he is capable of are already being used on the battlefield." The Pentagon has found errors in its accounting calculation which have allowed it to fund an additional $2 billion for weapons for Ukraine. The Pentagon has faced difficulties in accurately estimating the cost of military equipment sent to Ukraine due to unclear accounting definitions. Source: European Pravda with reference to Reuters. The US Department of Defense said it had used replacement value instead of depreciated value to calculate billions in material sent to Ukraine in 2023, causing a $6.2 billion miscalculation that was later used to send new aid. Since then, another $2 billion in overstated costs have been found, the Pentagon said. Consequently, an additional $2 billion worth of weapons may be sent to Ukraine. The US Government Accountability Office said that the discrepancies in the report on the value of the aid provided were caused by the unclear definition of value in the Foreign Assistance Act and the lack of specific guidance on valuation for the US presidential administration. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba has stated that during negotiations with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi in Guangzhou, he received a clear signal that China is not seeking temporary solutions, but rather a long-term and strategic solution to the problem of the Russian Federation's war against Ukraine. This is reported by Kuleba in an interview with TSN. Details: Kuleba emphasized that the first and most crucial element in the negotiations is China's support for Ukraine's territorial integrity. According to Kuleba, Wang Yi very clearly and repeatedly stated that China's commitment to Ukrainian sovereignty and territorial integrity is unwavering. The second essential diplomatic point, he believes, is the attitude towards establishing a long-term just peace in Ukraine. Quote, "I empathized the significance of a just peace, not just any peace," and my Chinese counterpart himself added, "fair and long." This is critical because we're usually the ones who insist that peace be durable, long-term and just. This is significant. We have received a clear indication that China is not looking for interim fixes or ceasefires, but rather for a long-term strategic solution to the problem of Russia's war against Ukraine. This is also an extremely positive indicator. That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Like and subscribe.